Thank you. So I'm just going to get started with the song, and then as we go, I'll talk a little bit about the steel drum, an instrument made from an oil barrel. And just out of curiosity, how many people have seen a steel drum before? All right, yeah, good amount. Good to hear. All right, so we're going to start with the song written by Harry Belafonte, someone closely associated with Caribbean music, although he grew up in New York City. His parents were from Barbados, so therefore he got that Caribbean influence there. And this is a song of his called Day-O, also known as the Banana Boat Song. Thank you. And next we're going to hear from an American songwriter by the name of Bobby McFerrin, and a song of his called Don't Worry, Be Happy. steel drum comes to us from Trinidad and Tobago, a set of small islands in the South Caribbean, just off the coast of Venezuela. And in the late 1930s, people figured out down there how to make an oil barrel into a musical instrument. In Trinidad, like much of the colonial world, musical instruments were not allowed, so people would play on whatever they could. It began as just pieces of bamboo, and they found out if they cut the bamboo to different lengths, they could make different sounds out of those. So they would play on pieces of bamboo. As the Industrial Revolution happened, metal parts started coming to the island, and they would just play on random pieces of metal. One day, someone was playing a paint can, and they dented the lid of that paint can and found out rather than just making a metal sound, they could make an actual musical note. And after experimenting with that for a little while, they became quite good at it, but as you know, a paint can is only about that wide, and they could fit 2, maybe 3 notes on there. And they looked at an oil barrel and thought, I could probably do the same thing with an oil barrel. And with a lot more pounding and a lot more work, the steel drum was born. So this thing started out as an oil barrel, and you can see it circular like a barrel would be. And at one point, it stood upright like this. And to make this instrument, they saw off the bottom of the oil barrel, and then using a hammer, much like you would use for any household task, they pound on the lid of that barrel. After about 20 hours of pounding, it becomes this bowl shape. On the bottom of this bowl, using a hammer and a wooden chisel, a lot of little dents are made. All along the surface of this bowl, they make a dent everywhere they would like a note to be. Because what starts out as a dent on the bottom becomes an oval and a note on the top. There are notes all along the top, the surface of this. I've outlined some of them with little black dots so that I can see them better. But all the little ovals here are pounded into shape, and then again using a hammer and a wooden chisel, they stretch and shape each of those ovals so that rather than sounding like a piece of metal, it sounds like a musical note. And all in all, this instrument has 29 notes on it. Most drums, when you hit the surface of it, you just get one sound. But because of all the little grooves that are put in there that separate one note from the next, they can put on 29 different notes that will vibrate mostly independently of each other. There is a little bit of ringing that happens when I hit one note and all the other notes ring a little bit. But this instrument has undergone 80 years of evolution at this point. Kind of young for a musical instrument, but it's improved the sound quality tremendously. In the early days, these sounded not too much better than a piece of metal, but people over the years have got much better at really refining the sound. And this is the highest member of the steel drum family. There are actually 4 different types of steel drums. They're all made from oil barrels, but this is the highest one. It has the smallest and highest notes and usually plays the melodies. It's called the lead pan because of that. And as you get lower and lower in the steel drum family, you add more and more barrels, because to make a lower note, you need a bigger note. So I said there are 29 notes on here. The next lowest instrument has about 15 notes on a drum, and there are 2 drums. And then as you get lower and lower, you get down to a full-size oil barrel for the bass instrument. And the notes on that bass steel drum are about this big. Only 3 of them fit on one barrel. So this next song we're going to hear comes to us from Trinidad and Tobago. And aside from steel drums, Trinidad is also known for calypso music. And this next song is a calypso written by a composer named Lord Kitchener. He was a famous singer and composer of calypsos. And this is a song of his called Margie. Thank you. And I also want to show you how I'm making sound on this instrument. You do hear a lot of sound coming from up here, and I'm playing along to pre-recorded music that gives me drums, bass, piano, sometimes strings and horns. But all the parts that would normally be sung, or all the melodies, I'm playing on the steel drum, doing one of three things. I'm either dropping a mallet to create a short note, and you can hear the sound goes away relatively quickly. Or if I want to create a longer note, I can do a drum roll and sort of make the instrument sing. And if I barely touch it, it can be like a whisper. And if I really need to scream, I can hit it harder. But I essentially have two little hammers in my hands, and I told you that this was created with a hammer. If I hit this too hard, I'm retuning the instrument. So that's one of the dangers of playing this instrument. If you hit it too hard, you can really wreck it and cost yourself a lot of money. But by doing those rolls, I can sustain a note as long as I'd like. Sometimes you'll hear me play two notes at a time, creating harmonies. And occasionally you'll hear me do a third thing, which is called a grace note, when I play one note just before another one. And I do that to imitate the bending of notes that certain instruments can do. Something like a voice can, and you might hear a vocalist play with a note like that to add extra expression. But since this is solid metal, I can't really bend it. So by doing that grace note, I can kind of give the illusion that it bends, and it gives me a way to make certain notes stick out. So if anybody is curious what this looks like from this angle, you're more than welcome to come up as I'm playing and have a closer look. You can come stand right next to me, you won't scare or spook me, but I know from your angle it looks like I'm just stirring my hands around. So at any point, if you feel comfortable or are curious, come on up and take a closer look. This next song we're going to hear is in a style from Trinidad, a style known as soca, S-O-C-A, which is sort of the next type of music that evolved out of calypso. But for this song, we're going to hear, or for this style, we're going to hear a song written by the Jackson 5 called I'll Be There.
Thank you, thank you.
So we're going to head back to Trinidad for a calypso song from there. And this is another one written by Lord Kitchener, again, that famous calypso singer and composer. And this is a song called Batty Mam Cell, nickname for a dragonfly down there in Trinidad and Tobago. And in this song, you're going to hear me improvise a little bit. You'll hear the melody as it was composed 2 times. You'll hear me improvise over the song 2 times through. And then you'll hear that original melody 1 time at the end. So here is Batty Mam Cell. So next we're going to come back to stateside for a song written by the Bee Gees. This is a song called How Deep Is Your Love?
Thank you, thank you.
And next we're going to hear a song from Otis Redding, his classic song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Thank you, thank you.
And next up, we're going to hear a song from an American songwriting duo of Rodgers and Hart, a duo responsible for a lot of Broadway hits of the 1900s. And this next song is one of those, a song by the name of Blue Moon. And it's another one you're going to hear me improvise over. I'll go along that same format as earlier, where you'll hear the melody as it was composed, you'll hear me improvise, and then you'll hear that original melody to end again. Thank you, thank you. So this next song we're going to hear has its origin, has its origins in Portugal. Back in 1917, a guitar player named Zequina de Abreu wrote this song called Tico Tico. And it's been played in a lot of different styles over the years. And today we're going to head down to Puerto Rico for a salsa style. And we're going to hear this song, Tico Tico, played as a salsa song. So enjoy Tico Tico. Thank you, thank you. So next up, we're going to take a trip down to Brazil and hear a style of music from there known as bossa nova. And this is probably the most famous bossa nova, song written by Antonio Carlos Jobim called "The Girl from Ipanema." Thank you, thank you. And I've got time for one more song today. This last one is going to be a song made popular by Louis Armstrong, a song called "What a Wonderful World." But we're going to hear it in a style that comes to us from the island of Jamaica, a style known as reggae music. So a little bit different than Louis would have done it, but a beautiful song nonetheless. All right, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Will I play an encore? Do I have time for an encore? Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I guess we can do Red, Red Wine. All right. So, yeah. If you want to come up and take a closer look as I'm playing, be my guest. So, by request, we'll hear a song written by Neil Diamond called Red, Red Wine. Thank you.